On June 26, 1990, 23:29 hours, the Los Angeles City Fire Department responded to a fire in a Salvation Army thrift store at 3500 North Eagle Rock Boulevard, Cross Street, Avenue 35. At this incident, because of a hidden space fire and damage to roof structural members prior to the LAFD arrival, several potential deadly factors existed. The building was constructed in 1938. It had stucco walls, wood, lath, and plaster, and had a plaster ceiling attached with metal 2x12 hangers to the bottom chord of the ribbed arch roof. The arch ran north and south, and a portion of the arch above the mezzanine area were directly exposed to fire in a concealed space. The original occupant was a market, and the construction was typical of markets built during the 30s and 40s. The market contained a mezzanine for storage and office space. The mezzanine area across the rear of the market provided storage space above and a delicatessen area below. The mezzanine that extended 53 feet along the north wall provided office space and storage above with a walk-in refrigerator below. In about 1967, the Salvation Army acquired this building and the delicatessen and the refrigerator were removed. The ceiling is approximately 19 feet above the ground level. A 3-foot-high concealed space had been constructed above the ceiling of the mezzanine area and across the rear and above the ceiling running across the north side. Access was through crawl holes. When this was constructed is unknown. The area was not used by the Salvation Army for storage. The front of the building is on the Eagle Rock Boulevard, which is the west side. The rear of the building is off the alley and is on the east side. There are parking lots on the north and south sides, and the north side has a one-storied exposure in the northwest corner. There was excellent access to all 4 sides of the building, but there were high-voltage lines running down Eagle Rock Boulevard in front of the building. The fire department had good access to the building, but access into the building was restricted and required rotary saws and forcible entry for the front and rear of the building. The front of the building was completely covered by rolling metal doors. The rear was protected by metal-clad and barred doors. The windows on the building were also protected by security bars. They required forcible entry efforts which created a delay in the fire department units on scene advancing hose lines into the building. The south side of the building was laddered with 335 extension ladders, 1 at each corner and in the middle of the building. The ladder at the southwest corner is the 35-foot extension ladder that was used by Light Force 50 and Light Force 1 to exit the roof by using the parapet wall that was swaying in a 2 to 3 foot arc after the roof caved in, with 6 firefighters not knowing if they were going to be pitched into the fire and into the parking lot. As the 6th firefighter climbed down the 35-foot extension ladder, the top of the ladder began to burn. The north side of the building is where the members of Engine 50 and Engine 44 were trapped when the roof came in. The 2 windows towards the front of the building is the room where Engine 50 and Engine 44 were able to retreat to and were trapped by the security bars on those windows. What the first on-scene members observed was a lazy, small fire on the roof. Battalion 2 was the first on scene, and he drove around the building and established the command post on Eagle Rock Boulevard, northwest of the building. In Battalion 2's lap around the building, he observed lazy fire on the roof above the windows showing smoke, and he observed a glow in the rear 2 windows at the ceiling level. The fire department units on scene believed that they had a 1-room fire on the 2nd floor, northeast corner of the building. What was really burning is the 3-foot concealed area above the ceiling space of the mezzanine area. Engine 44 arrived in front and, seeing the rolling metal doors, tried to make access through the 1-story exposure on the northwest corner. They quickly realized this was a mistake. They returned to the rolling metal doors and began forcible entry operations. Engine 50 met with Engine 44. Due to the metal doors, Engine 50 went to the rear to make access, but discovered they would also require forcible entry to advance hose lines. Light Force 50 was directed to ladder the building and provide forcible entry. Light Force 50 threw a 35 on the southwest corner of the building. One Light Force 50 member was assigned as the inside man with Engine 50, and one firefighter was assigned to the utilities. The AO, firefighter, and captain went to the roof to initiate ventilation. They traveled down the parapet to the middle section of the roof. The roof was identified as an arched truss roof and was in good condition. They opened approximately a 4x8 hole, light smoke showing. It clears, and Light Force 50, by looking into the hole, sees the attic involvement in the northeast corner of the building. They enlarged the hole. Engine 55, assigned to backup Engine 50, is at the rear of the building. Engine 50 and Engine 55, while waiting to enter, decide that they will work together in advancement of the hose line. Engine 42, assigned to the backup Engine 44 in the front of the building. Light Force 1's original assignment was forcible entry in the rear of the building. Light Force 50 informs Light Force 1 they need assistance on the roof. Light Force 1 notifies Battalion 2 by radio, and Battalion 2 rogers Light Force 1's message. Light Force 1 then threw two more 35s, one in the middle of the south wall and one at the southeast corner of the south wall. A firefighter with a rotary saw was sent to the rear, and the captain, an AO, an engineer, and firefighter go to the roof. Engine 44 enters the front of the building. Smoke is at the ceiling level, but it's not very hot, and they advance the hose line inside and they notify the incident commander of what they see. Engine 50 and Engine 55 enter the rear of the building, advancing their hose line. They observe a glow at the ceiling level in the southeast corner. Engine 44 and Engine 50 make it to the second level of the mezzanine floor. They pull the ceiling on the landing, and they see no fire. They enter the room to their left, and they extinguish the fire and pull ceiling and find a rolling fire. They extinguish the ceiling area fire. Two members from Engine 55 are on the stairs leading to the mezzanine. The third member is pulling hose for Engine 44 near the front of the building. Light Force 50's utility man has just entered the rear of the building. Engine 42 is preparing to enter the building from the front. Light Force 50 and Light Force 1 are on the roof. Heavy smoke begins to issue from Light Force 50's first hole. A ventilator on the north side of the roof begins to vent fire 12 to 15 feet high. The fire in the concealed space has broken out and is completely involved in the attic space. The roof, the total roof, begins to fall into the fire, starting from the rear forward. The roof fails approximately 16 minutes after the Los Angeles City Fire Department is dispatched. What you're going to be seeing is a videotape of this incident and the fire. The videotape starts at exactly 11 minutes into the fire, and you will be able to see the time leading up to the roof collapse at 16 minutes into the fire. Two security-barred windows showing black smoke open into the room where Engine 44 and Engine 50 become trapped when the roof collapses. At 13 minutes, 24 seconds after the fire department's dispatch, Engine 44, Engine 50 began to extinguish the room fire. At 14 minutes 36 seconds after the fire department's dispatch, we have full fire venting from the attic space through a ventilator. Engine 42 begins to advance a hose line through the front of the building just as the roof collapses. Engine 44 and Engine 50 are now trapped in the second floor room. Two members of Engine 55 are knocked from the stairs to the floor. The third member of Engine 55 makes his escape out the front door. The remaining two members of Engine 55 crawl on their hands and knees through a 3-foot tunnel and exit out the rear of the building. Light Force 1 and Light Force 50 are on the parapet wall, scooting towards a 35-foot extension ladder at the southwest corner of the building. You can see one of the two ladders that were used to assist in Engine 44 and Engine 50's rescue operation from the second floor. Within a couple of minutes after this scene, Engine 50, Engine 44, Engine 55 are out of the building, and Light Force 1 and Light Force 50 are off the roof.
What happened in there?
Well, we had taken a line in the front door and we snaked it up the stairwell. And after we got inside, you know, we knocked the fire down. And then we went on through and got into a room. We knocked the fire down, and then there was fire in the attic.
Yeah.
So we pulled the ceilings and we started knocking the fire down in the ceilings. Then after that, we started looking back, and the fire started flashing behind us. The next thing we know, it just felt like an earthquake. The whole building shook, and the roof just came in.
Yeah.
And after that, we started trying to find a way out, and we couldn't go back the way we came in because the roof had come down, and so there was no more access that way. So we started looking to the window, but the window was barred.
Okay.
And so we started trying to put a hole through the side in the drywall on the side of the window.
Did you think you were going to get out of there?
I didn't think we were. We were yelling down, we were flashing our lights through the bars, trying to get someone's attention. We're hollering and screaming at the guys, and they're looking at us. They knew something was wrong, but they were still running around trying to, I guess, look for some ladders or something. And so in the meantime, we were still trying to get a hole in the wall. And we finally got a hole in the wall about 1.5 feet by 4 feet high, and just couldn't get through, though, with the bottles on. And then there was about, I would think, 10 or more guys on the inside. And because the fire had come down, it just burned our line. And we ran out of water. It's hot in there. We can't get out. I didn't think we were going to get out at all. I thought we were going to
I'm glad you did,
go.
Romeo. Thank you.
What are the issues we need to consider when reviewing the Eagle Rock fire? 1. As always, the age of the building is important. The older the building, the greater the possibility of remodel, which is almost a guarantee of a hidden or concealed space. This building was built in 1938. When a fire involves a structure, as distinct from the contents in the structures, members on the fire ground need to know there's a difference between a structural fire and a structural fire. At the Eagle Rock Boulevard fire, we had a structural fire, which was the main factor in the early failure of the ribbed arches, which led to the collapse of the roof. The plaster ceiling, which was attached to the bottom chords of the arches by 2 by 12 metal hangers, provided a negative load on the arches and was also a factor in the total collapse of the roof. 2. Access problems. Requiring forcible entry will always take time. Forcible entry will cause a delay in the advancement of hose lines into the building. Whenever an incident commander encounters forcible entry problems, the need for additional resources should be considered immediately. 3. Firefighting operations. One of the things that distinguishes this fire department and other fire departments that have a reputation for good structure firefighting is the coordinated efforts between the engine and truck companies in a direct attack on the fire. Ventilation is performed to provide firefighting access, relieve possible backdraft and flashover conditions, and to provide rescue of occupants. When the overall strategy for a structure fire is offensive and a direct attack is being made on the fire, there is always a risk to firefighters. At the Eagle Rock Boulevard fire, everybody initially believed that this was a one-roomer on the second floor. Ventilation. 4. Ventilation safety operations. In-service training has 2 videotapes in their library. One is on ventilation and the other is on ventilation safety. The videotape, Ventilation Safety Considerations, was made in 1981, and the second ventilation tape was made in 1982. In-service training also has COMO lesson plans available on ventilation. Training Bulletin 19 covers roof and building construction. The 2 tapes are very good, and I recommend officers use all these resources for ventilation and ventilation safety considerations. 5. Fireground communications. The TAC channels are not recorded at this time, but sometime in October 1990 or November of 1990, we expect all fire department channels will be recorded. The fireground communications at Eagle Rock Boulevard were excellent and had a positive impact on the rescue operations. 6. Rescue operations. When you have firefighters trapped, the incident commander should consider that he has a completely new fire. The on-scene firefighters become the resources that are immediately available to begin rescue operations. You will need additional resources for firefighting to back up the rescue operations. The sit-stat and restat is critical. What were the company assignments and where are they located? When members are trapped, over the radio provide their location to all members on scene. And when the members that were trapped are clear of the building, notify all members on the fire ground that this has occurred. This is a very important factor. 7, building construction. This building, built in 1938, is a type of building all firefighters must be able to identify. It's a wood frame plaster wall supported a ribbed arch roof. This roof does not provide the roof stability that you would expect of a brick-walled ribbed arch roof. The failure of a portion of a ribbed arch roof is never a surprise. When you are on a ribbed arch roof supported by wood frame and plaster walls, a failure of the total roof should be considered and expected. It's important for you to know that if you have any of these buildings in your first-in district, if you are on a ribbed arch roof while firefighting, you should know the type of building which are supporting the roof that you're standing on.